All right, so welcome to Off the Records Airtable Secrets and Lore. This is week 14. The live stream didn't work this week, so we're just in Zoom. If anybody wants to join, I guess you wouldn't be hearing this, but links in the Facebook group. If you're watching this on YouTube, join the Airtable community Facebook group so you can join these live streams. But we are a group of Airtable users looking for new ways to use Airtable to optimize our businesses and lives. Open to hearing from anyone about their experience, good or bad, using Airtable to make a positive impact in the world. And we attempt to promote people coming from any level to share their ideas or ask questions. We also share our experiences, tips, and practices, and offer ways to get help and get involved in the community. So we meet every Wednesday from 7 to 7:30 in Clubhouse, and then at 7:30 or 7:53 today in the Facebook group on Zoom, doing the live stream. So to kick things off, we typically go with Airtable news. I think the majority of the Airtable news this week was some of those new product launches. It looks like there's a lot of content coming out. I know specifically from Sync Inc. I saw that a few times. Chris, I saw you had mentioned that as well. But yeah, if we want to kick things off, I know we were just talking about the Airtable's pricing being jacked up. There was something
we are officially on the record right now, right?
Yeah.
Not off the rails yet? Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can revisit some of this stuff. Devin had the pricing stuff. I think it's jacked too, but I think it was I'm kind of going to mess up all their systems. But I do want to. As soon as Devin's done, I do want to talk about this Paytable and do a little demo because I think it's interesting.
I mean, I was just commenting on something I probably comment on every week. I just think that the licensing, I wouldn't even call it a licensing structure, honestly, is not conducive to growth, right? Like, and we were just chatting about, sharing a base between the three of us who all have, pro accounts. But
multiple.
For us to do that, we have to pay, 3 more times just to share one base on a pro workspace. So at least 2 more times. If somebody invited one to the other, which I just think isn't conducive to collaboration and expand use of Airtable over the long term.
One thing I was thinking about last week, looks like we just lost Chris, but if you're a if you're a consultant and say you're a collaborator on like 15 different people's pro plans, then like you're not directly paying it because the owner of the Airtable workspace is paying it, but your Airtable is raking in like 15 licenses from you, even though you probably have your own pro account, but just to be collaborators on there and help them out.
Which just isn't fair, I don't think.
Yeah, because it's charging the small businesses that you're helping.
And it makes people, like, if I was a small business owner, I don't want to, if you have pro account, I don't want to pay for your account to come on my workspace.
Yeah.
And likewise, if you want to share something that you had on your workspace as a demo to me to help me understand it, something like, you're then going to pay for me to come in and see that. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, my buddy was doing something. I got him on Airtable, convinced him to, come on because it thought it'd be useful.
For sure.
But, he was doing something, and I was like, I'd love to just see this, but I can't because then we'd have to pay.
Yeah.
What I would do in my clients is I literally set up new Airtable accounts with fake credentials at lowest possible free plan, and when they finally switch over, I just hand them the credentials and they can pay for it. But I feel for you, Devin, because I've too have brought people into the fold. Give them a little bit of the Airtable smack. Just come on, find a vein. Come on, find a data vein. And, they get hooked, and then if they want to share it with someone, and then I can't tell you how many friends have said, I just got charged $250 for somebody I invited to my comic book collection. And I'm like, sorry?
But just imagine, what the three of us could get cooking.
The pricing is... Again, I literally I'm leery of any business that has to hide any pricing. And as soon as I saw, when I first signed up to Airtable years ago, enterprise contact sales, I'm like, the contact high. What do you mean I have to contact? You're going to like look at my FICA score and then decide what you're going to pay me? That's like prostitutes. Charge them by like the size of your shoe. Like, I just think that is just, it's too soon to be off the rails, right?
Only 7 minutes in.
Only 7 minutes, so we can't do that. But yeah, it is. But it's like we said last, and when we were actually off the record, for them to actually fix the pricing, they'd have to restructure I swear it's at the core level of the product. They'd have to go back and start to re-engineer that. Because this is the first time I've used a free plan, and I saw that little thing down at the bottom said, if you want a view or view sections, you need a pro plan. I'm like, oh, wow.
For the Gantt view and the sections.
And the way they just...
See, but workspace versus licensing, it doesn't affect that stuff.
I know.
Right? You still have a pro and a free and a plus or whatever, and those features would still be, gated to some degree. It's really just the workspace sharing.
The way these big companies do is they sell something called concurrent licensing, and that's just not the way they're doing it. They're just selling it via workspace access, and that's like the post office charging you for like, I don't know. It's just it's really crazy. But again, I'm not siding with them. I just think it's probably they'd have to restructure their whole system. We cut down a cedar tree, so I've been sniffing it for a couple hours, and I just rubbed some on my neck, and I felt like hives coming up. So if I go into anaphylactic shock, that I'm allergic to cedar on the air. Okay.
Let's see FinTable.
All right, so let's talk about my news. All right, so Ben, you'll have to share the link, like wherever you post all this stuff on your site, and that because I built an option so that like a stranger can come in here and put their name in. Did you guys notice that? And I gave everybody an icon. So Ben,
oh yeah, yep, I did see the icons.
I made myself a bear. I made Devin a turtle. Now, Devin, you were a rabbit, but I find you're more turtle and like you're very thoughtful.
I'm an old soul.
Yes, yeah.
Like a witch.
I like turtle. Are you okay with turtle? I can make you something else.
Turtle's good. Turtle's good.
Okay.
It's like turtle soup.
Slow and steady runs the race. Beaver, Ben, do you know why I made you beaver?
I do not.
Because they're hard working. They're always working. And they'll be goddamned. Get it? Goddamned. And Rebecca's here. I'll have to give Rebecca and I may guess the hawk. Oh, well. Yes, I put in a couple things this week. The first thing I wanted to talk about was something near and dear to my heart, and that's what I'm calling the end of Innocence. So I don't know if you guys noticed this, but last year, Airtable, Howie in his infinite kindness, decided that if you were doing something with Airtable that would help COVID-19, you could use it for free.
What about your base?
The one that I built, that for my neighborhood?
Yeah, the COVID-19 relief base.
I was already paying for it, so it's not like they gave me anything for free.
Yeah. But
I mean, I should have, but yeah, I didn't get that for free. But what I thought was interesting this week was dun dun dun. 4 days ago, I think it was the Facebook community, someone said that they were on it and they got a note saying this will end and you're being converted, got me.
What date did they start this?
The original support was started in March 2020.
Okay. So I was going to say, maybe you just defaulted it for a year, but that doesn't seem to be the case.
No, so officially, Airtable and Howie has declared the pandemic over. I think that's the kind of breaking news. Howie has decided the pandemic was over. Pay up puppies. That's what's happening right here. So Howie, if you're listening, we're so glad you're vaccinated, but people are still suffering, Howie. Business has not come back, and you just got a $10 billion valuation. Come on, Howie, help us. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this because I feel like there were a lot of businesses that got up with the COVID-19 program. I know of a lot. There's a lot of COVID long patient programs that are using it now. These are groups that don't have a lot of money, if any. And now they're going to be charged. Thoughts, Devin, Benjamin?
I mean, what was the intention of the free trial in the first place?
To help out communities. You can see here, if we've received multiple inquiries. If you're doing this, we want to help you. The interesting thing is, if you're a 501c3, they will give you 50% off. That was like the one solution you can do. And I think if you're a student somewhere, it's free for students. So I guess if you're under 20, 21, or you've had, but again, you have to have money to have a 501c3.
You probably have to have a eat.edu email, and then you could get a free plan. I didn't know that.
Edu.
Maybe I could try to snatch one of those.
Oh my God, are we breaking news for you?
This is
the show breaks news. The show breaks news for others, Ben, not for you.
This is news to me. This page.
What if they work with Canadian? Like we don't use .edu, right? It's just university.ca.
My whole relationship with Canadian universities is Jordan Peterson. Do you really want to go there?
Devin, you guys don't have to pay for health insurance, correct? So you guys have to pay for your Airtable licenses.
Well,
that's the trade-off.
So actually, the healthcare system in Canada is not like complete. Like you have to pay for dental, eye, physio, any of these like external things, other than like basically your family doc and your crisis care. Oh, and farmers like prescriptions too.
If you want to smile pretty, it's going to cost you. But if you have a heart attack, you're not going to die from financial bills or like a doctor.
Exactly. Yeah. Like there's a lot of people advocating that like if we have a public health system, we should cover things like eye and dental things because they can, there's positive externalities. A, from just getting that care, but B, like preventing more serious illness that costs the system more later.
Yeah. So that was it. I don't know. I think for the show, this was something we needed to talk about. And thank you, Ben, for building this little submission portal for me to come up with these things. So I think this is the kind of stuff, I'll be honest with you, this is the kind of stuff that should be on the record.
Yeah, I did not.
I'll be honest with you, I think teachers should get Airtable for free. My spouse is a teacher. You saw we built a system for that, right? So come on. These, people aren't making a lot of money. All right, so that's that one.
I think that's slimy. I think the word for that is slimy by Airtable for saying it's going to be free and then using their license program to make people pay up.
I mean, I can see at some point we given the volume. At some point, COVID-19 is, the crisis piece of this is over reduced in some way, and they have to make a call. But do I think now is the time? Probably not, especially if they're trying to go global. I mean, if you think about, U.S. is decent on vaccinations and stuff. I don't really know what case numbers are. I know they're ticking up in certain places, but if you look at India right now, I mean, if they want to gain users in other parts of the world, like there's still many things that relief efforts could be like
I hate to be blunt, but again, the reason I'm calling out Howie on this and Airtable leadership is real simple. COVID is still disproportionately affecting Black and brown communities, at least in most of the world. They're dying and they're getting vaccinated less. So right away, you're taking people who are already marginalized, and now you're doubling down on this. And then you add long COVID people, especially in the United States, where we don't have the type of healthcare we have with others. I just think, Ben, you're completely right. It's slimy. And the reason I called my post "The End of Innocence" is because I'm seeing a real shift in Airtable. Just in the last 6 months, we're seeing them become less friendly on social fronts. They're becoming much more business focused, and a lot of their kind of programs to kind of be accessible are moving away. I think this is the end of Innocence. What we're seeing is the beginning of Airtable, the mega corporation who won't really care for anyone who isn't a big ticket customer. I think this is officially the end of it.
Do you think they'll extend that or not?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would love to think that I had the power to call them out and shame them into reality, but with a $10 billion valuation, they're only listening to one thing, the street. They don't care anymore.
They're listening to the enterprise customers specifically.
I mean, let's not forget, Howie turned down a university student to speak for 30 minutes, and I had to sub. Right? So, again, I understand that Airtable is a big, powerful company, and they've done wonderful things to help me organize my life, but that does not negate accountability. You got to fix yourself, Howie. It ain't working.
So Howie turned that down, but I've seen him on other interviews, because I searched him last week.
He'll go to any podcast by a bro. He'll go to any Silicon Valley podcast and show up and wax poetic. But asking a group of enterprise students or some other group who'd like to know about business, he doesn't show up to those. We should call this the shame episode. We should have names for these episodes.
We should have a goal for 2021 to get Howie on release.
That would be epic.
I did a podcast, oh my God, over a decade ago, and our goal was to get Gartner, was a big analyst firm, and to get all the CEOs. And after about 2 years, we had like 1 million people listening around the globe. We had a group in America, so we had like off the record US, off the record UK, off the record Australia. So we had these off the records, and everyone used, that wasn't off the record, it was whatever it was back then. It was ITSM Weekly. And we got Gartner and all the CEOs from all the big software companies, everything, because we had so much influence. So many people were listening to us. And, you know, I wouldn't say that's my goal here, but it is. Okay, so, wouldn't be my first time I toppled an industry. All right, next thing I wanted to talk about. Do you guys know anything about this? What does this mean? People follow me. Thank you, everyone, if anyone listens to this and follows me because they find me slightly interesting. But what does following someone at Airtable get you? Do you guys know? Have you been followed?
We talked about this last week somewhat.
I don't remember the answer, and I keep getting followed.
I've never really used the universe. I really don't know.
So it's just a universe thing. Oh, yeah, it says Airtable Universe.
If I had to guess, it's every time you post a new base or a new template to the universe, they would get notified.
So let me understand this. So they've built an alerting system. So every time I give Airtable something free to make their marketing stronger, someone can get notified and I don't get paid. Again, F that, Howie.
Kind of slimy.
All right, so right? Is that how, am I reading this wrong?
I just followed you and I don't know what that does. You have 67 followers.
Yeah, I know. That's the other thing. What are these people getting out of this? Like, I don't know. Well, I have a lot of Reddit followers now, too. I'm like, what do they get out of this? Do they know the fact that what subs I go to?
I just, like, I don't even know. But if you follow somebody, do you even get to see their stuff differently?
I don't know. I think I should be able to have private conversations with these people. I'd like to talk to my 67 followers right now about the horrible decisions being made around the COVID plan. I need you to instantly log off of Airtable or crash it. All right, so we don't have an answer on that, so I'll put something in here.
Well, no, it's interesting because I just followed you, but I don't even see an option in here to
see your
look
followers
at your followers' content or anything. Like
it feels like that's where remember one of my my predictions was a total revamp of Universe. Anyone remember this? I can go to the predictions tab.
Yeah, I think that's where we talked about it, maybe.
So we'll see. Okay, next thing I want to talk about is this Sync.io. So have you guys noticed Reddit, Facebook, all the other places you see Airtable content, there's a lot of what I would call, what am I calling it? I'm calling it content scammers. So it's these people who build these big, elaborate ways to tell you how to do things. Set up your dev environment. Here's the best practices for naming your fields, right? And they send you to a blog, right? And, they're like, okay, I'll go to your blog and check it out. And all it ends up being is a commercial for their Airtable add-on. Have you guys noticed this?
Yeah, it's really interesting that they're trying to get clicks from just Airtable, like general content using SEO with their blogs, but like they should be going for a very niche, like people that want to use Postgres. And I'll be honest, I don't even know what that is. Using that with Airtable, but they're just going for general content, which I think is it's not a smart marketing play because they're going for too much, and it's also like slimy.
Yeah. So Postgres is like super database. Okay. Whereas like, most people would say Airtable is like database light. Mm-hmm. We'll have to have a whole show where we just do like the history of databases. But it's actually kind of cool, that they can do this because they can take something like some major system like the United States Postal Service Postgres database of addresses and then integrate it into like Airtable or something like that, which is...
It looks like it's only the other way around. Kind of like one-way sync. Like you can go from Airtable to Postgres, but can you go from Postgres to Airtable?
I don't think you can go the other way. I think you can just read from Airtable.
Reminds me of this...
I guess for a big enterprise, you might want that.
Just reminds me of the syncing feature being one way.
Yeah. The minute you see Airtable do anything with Tableau, you'll know that the world has changed. That's real data people use. I shouldn't say that out loud. Okay. Shouldn't say these things out loud. And last but not least, this. So this is a biggie. So I saw this post. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Paytable. So check this out. So it's how much is this? It's
free.
$12 a month if you pay. And by the way, can we stop? Not only stop with subscriptions, but stop
with the totals.
With the payment models. Okay, so if you give us all your money up front now, even though we might go out of business, it's cheaper. But if you pay us, it's just what's wrong with you people? Can you imagine? I won't go there with the size of your shoe again.
Off the rails started early today.
But this is kind of interesting.
But I think annual pricing makes sense to some degree. I'd just rather see that displayed as like, what's the total cost? Because like annual pricing, I mean, yeah, they might go to business. Well, on stuff like this where you don't really know them, like that's somewhat sketchy. But on an established service, like you get a discount because you're giving them your money up front, which they can do other things with to offset the cost of like the opportunity cost of you not going monthly.
I think I really like what Paytable. I haven't used it, but it sounds like I like the product.
Let's talk about them now. So what do you get? You get like a web page again. So if you know WordPress or Squarespace, you might not need that, but that's what you get. So it's nice. You get you get a storefront, right? It's Gumroad for your Airtable, right? What's the next thing you get? You get a login modal. So what's cool about that? Well, your customers pay you, then they can log in and see your base. So it's like, again, you could do this with something else, but they're giving it to you. And last but go ahead.
I was saying on Squarespace, it's like relatively more. It's a bit more complex to do a login model depending on what you're doing.
Yeah, by the way, Pori shipped their login model. I demoed it lightly last week. It's really sweet, and you get custom URLs now on Pori for that same price. I should get paid by Pori. And then last but not least, you get the iframe reader, so you can lock down your data. Which again.
So can people copy use the data or copy the table to their workspace and just quit pay? So unfortunately, my computer crashed right then and there, so we do not get the end of this week's video. I actually got logged out of Zoom. Everything shut down on my computer, but to summarize what happened after that, because I think we stayed on for about 2 more minutes before my computer crashed, is Paytable. You can check out the link down in the description. I don't have any affiliation with them at all, but from my understanding, somehow they get around the being able to copy the data. But Chris showed in there that you could just copy the record, copy the data out of there, and paste it in your own table. But from our understanding, you can't go copy it, copy the table just as itself with the iframe. Which I have not actually used it, so use it at your own discretion and look at all that on your own. But if you enjoyed this episode, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and you can check out this video right here in the end screen. It's probably covering up my face now, but you can check out that video. It's last week's Off the Record Airtable Secrets and Lore. It should be week 13, so I highly encourage you to go check that out, and you can see a lot more of the fun we have here on Off the Record. So thank you for watching, and have a great day. Go click that video right here in the end screen.